This has got to be one of the most impressive and elaborate maker pipe and conduit builds we've seen. So I'm really excited to hear about it. You want to just kind of introduce yourself and then maybe talk about the need for this shed, kind of how this idea originated, and yeah, we'll go through everything.
Absolutely. My name's Matt Mattoon, and I live in Fall Creek, Wisconsin. And the reason for building this shed was, or is, or has been, I'm just literally running out of room on my own property. My brother had some spare room on his property, and I asked if I could put up a temporary structure until I am able to procure some land. And so this is a 5 turning into 10-year plan. He's allowing me to keep it for 10 years.
Are you wanting to walk through it? Do you have it there in front of you?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm looking at it. So
oh, nice.
I could
yeah.
turn my phone the other way or turn my head the other way, whichever you would prefer.
Yeah, if you want to turn the camera around and just walk us through it, that would be great, and just kind of talk about
Okay.
some different things. That'd be awesome. Oh yeah.
There.
All right, there it is.
Yeah, there it is.
Wow.
So maybe the entranceway, or maybe that doesn't really matter to people.
Oh yeah, I think so. I think any detail
Okay.
you want to share about it, I think would be awesome.
Okay. Well, I'll give you some pieces. Well, here, let's do this. This is the entryway I typically use. And again, this would be from, doing boats. They make these little hatches that, I don't know if I can do this with 2 hands. There we go. I think so. Hang on. There we go. So you can see that that's just a hatch I use in the wintertime.
Mm-hmm.
When I want to get in, and I just climb through.
Nice.
And so now you can see kind of the inside and the mascot. Yeah, the inside of the entryway. Wow. So how that happens is, I didn't think about this. I should have had it all disassembled. I don't know how I can do this without. Well, here's what I can do. I can maybe put the phone down for just a second and disassemble this a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, no worries. Whatever works for you.
I'll just quickly take this apart.
Okay, great.
Everybody knows what these are.
Mm-hmm.
And so these straps just hold the frame together during high wind.
Mm-hmm.
And as you can see, they're well used. And then these just hold the tarps in place.
Nice.
I needed a like 10.5 foot by 10.5 foot. There. I needed a 10.5 foot by 10.5 foot opening to get the truck camper in. So yeah, so late in the season, the truck camper goes in, and then it's just basically tied with paracord.
Mm-hmm.
Got a bunch of paracord. And yeah, I wasn't thinking. Should have had this all ready to go for you, but
oh no, you're fine.
So, and it's just a simple. I don't know if you can see. Get a ladder and show you too, but it's just a couple eyelets.
Okay.
And the paracord's tied at the top.
Mm-hmm.
And little lead pieces at the bottom to hold it. And then it just pulls open like so.
Oh wow, nice.
There's an in one and an out one, inside and outside. And then I got a little I don't know what you'd call it, a little flap that keeps the air from turning the shed into a balloon.
Oh, right.
Right,
Yeah, don't want it to
right,
take flight. That's right.
right. And so so what I did was I got two, I don't know, $8 or $10 8 by 10 foot tarps. That's what they
Mhm.
are, and they just like a little theater. Uh, what do you call it?
Like
The
a
curtain.
projector screen.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. Well, a curtain.
Oh, right. I
Um,
see.
so
Hmm.
yeah, so it just let me undo this one, maybe get a better picture of the whole thing. I don't know.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, whatever you'd like.
I'm probably a little obsessive and compulsive. Uh,
That's okay. I mean that the details matter in things like this.
right,
When you're building something this massive, I think that attention to detail is definitely really useful. Yeah,
right,
that's a great opening. So you kind of put everything else on the sides, and then you just kind of back up the camper and the truck in there in the middle.
right. I can't get the car trailer that I have, which
Hmm.
is like a 26 foot uh uh I could get that and the snowmobile
Hmm.
trailer in, um but not the camper. Or I can elect to put the camper in for the winter.
Mm.
With the truck, I can just leave the snowmobile trailer where it is and just drive right in. That's why I have the initial framing. If you look at it, you can kind of see it's squared off. It's a kind of a square truss.
Right. Hmm.
Um, and I've been playing with it. The back two, you can see, if I can show my finger, these basically truss pieces that come down into a T. They strengthened it up. And of course, I ordered a couple of these. I like this one right here. I don't know if that what you call that one again, but
Oh,
it's
the adjustable 180.
yes, yeah. I'm going to modify the next the next two down the way, um, and convert those to 3/4. I was using a lot of half.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then I switched in the process to 3/4. So
Nice. Yeah,
yeah,
I imagine for something like that, 3/4 inch or even maybe 1 inch would be the beefiest. But yeah, I'd love to know more about kind of how you went about. So I know you said you were looking at some other outdoor structures that you could kind of buy or, halfway assemble or maybe, larger panels. There's a lot of different options for sheds, but you decided to build it. Did you plan out everything or did you just kind of have just a general idea and then just start putting things together? If you want to kind of walk us through how you started building it or designing it, I think that would be great.
I had dreams and a general idea, and I just sat at the table one evening, and my my wife said, "If this is something you really want, well, show me how you think you'd build it." And I sketched it all out. Of course, I sketched it out with none of the maker pipe stuff because I
Mhm.
didn't know it existed until
Right.
after. But I was literally going to weld some of the trusses,
Okay.
and I wasn't excited about that task. But I got a little portable welder, and um, I'm just literally 100 feet from the other shed, so I could get a welder up here, and I could weld some of the trusses in place, and that was my plan of action until I found your company. Um, oh, that probably would have been a nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah, it would have taken a
so
lot of time for sure.
so yeah, but my thought came from, you know just truss building.
Hmm.
I built some trusses, wood trusses, and
Hmm.
um, have done light construction for years. My forte is in acoustics and uh, recording facilities. In fact, I still am part owner uh, of one of the largest facilities in the state.
Nice.
But semi-retired, and uh, have moved out of that market, but taken a lot of that knowledge with me. So So yeah, trusses. Instead of wood trusses, I thought, why not EMT trusses?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I just kind of have been experimenting. You kind of get a little bit of a look at the whole thing. Um, I did not originally plan for any foundation. In fact, I can show you maybe a little bit. Like for example, here you'll see the
Mm-hmm.
handy box.
All right. Mm-hmm.
Well, I originally took one 2x6 and chopped it into like 8-inch pieces, and I had each one of those handy boxes on an 8-inch piece of uh, AC2 ground contact lumber, and it was okay, but then it got windy, and then I thought, okay, well, I'm going to buy these things. I got those off Amazon. They're a
Okay.
little over a foot thick, and they kind of hang on. They hang on to the wood. You can see one in place there,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and that helped. I also did. Let me see if I can go around here. I'll show you. Um, there are tie downs on the outside. Yes,
Nice. Yeah, I think I
I
saw
took.
some of those.
Yeah, I took one tie down and used aircraft wire. You can see
All right. Mm-hmm.
a little connector there. Well, this particular uh, line runs all the way through the building to the other side.
Oh wow.
So it runs through the first piece of 3/4. This first one right here, and
Wow.
that helped a lot. Um, but then last summer I decided, sometimes I'm too cheap, so I got a few more 2x4s this time. You can see, uh, and then I took re-rod and I pounded some like 3 foot deep because it's all sand where I'm at here. And of course, I'm now using the new feet you guys have. So originally, everything was like this, 5 foot squares.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, and now you can see what I've done uh, last year to everyone except for this one, simply because this was set up for 1/2 inch. I've got the pipe ready to go up this year. I just never got to it last year, but uh, on either end, I haven't had a problem. The heavy snow load tends to be right in this middle section.
Mm-hmm.
So last year I put in the longer pieces of 2x4, and bought the feet that you had. So originally, you can see the design to hold everything together. It's all 1/2 inch.
Mm-hmm.
On the original sticks, the original supports. So then I went in with 3/4 and hard attached, um,
I see. Nice.
using that. You can let people know what that is. The foot, a couple foot.
Flange. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this right here. Um,
Is that the
it ties.
crossover clamp? Kind of
Yeah,
the. Nice.
yeah, yes. Those the whole thing just really worked really well. So
Nice. So that's
eventually,
kind of the truss design that you would recommend the most. Just kind of breaking the. Is that so? Did you cut the 5 foot, or not really cut, but did you turn into kind of a 2.5 foot
yeah,
per
yep,
section instead of 5?
yeah, yeah. They're obviously it's not exactly because you can see it's rectangle, not square, but
Right.
for the
Mm-hmm.
most part, yeah, yes. I'm cutting that in half. Um, I would, most people don't need what I need. I would guess like the camper idea.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you can kind of see. Of course, I haven't taken that top strap out, but you can kind of see. Maybe you can't see. You tell me if you think you can visualize the camper coming in
Mm-hmm. And you
and
kind of did
how.
the T connectors kind of higher up instead of straight across the
Yes.
middle, right?
Yep. Yeah, and they, you can see that there's a little bit of sag on them, and part of that is because uh, the I didn't get the measurements right.
Oh,
Where I
okay.
put the
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Um, so a little sloppy on my part. I'm a little embarrassed, but at the same time, um, if you know what I had to go through to get this.
I was gonna say you have no reason at all to be embarrassed. This is super impressive. Like I said, it's one
Yeah.
of the most impressive builds I've ever seen. So yeah, no
These
reason to be
I may
embarrassed at
somehow
all.
change out. You
Mm-hmm.
can see where I've got one T connector and then another one going. And you guys make another style of connector, I think, that both ways.
Oh, the
I,
90 maybe?
yeah, maybe the 90 is what I'm thinking on that anyway. Eventually, and there's actually a triple there. You can see,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So on those points, these things work really great.
Nice.
Just keeping the whole thing supported in the wintertime. And of course, you can see the 1x4s
Mm-hmm.
that they're all wind support. All that stuff is just it keeps the thing from moving in the wind. That's all.
Nice.
So
How did you secure those to the walls there? Just screwed straight into the conduit?
let me see if I can actually show you.
Okay.
Please don't laugh.
Oh yeah,
Well,
no worries at all.
can you see? It's just a half-inch EMT. Oh, I can't remember the nomenclature for it. It's the
Oh,
little
is it
clamp.
like
Yep.
the hanger strap,
Yep.
I think?
Yep. Just a
Oh,
hanger.
perfect. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah. It's all. There you
Oh,
go.
the one hole straps. I see.
Yeah. One whole strap on each side.
Nice.
Uh, so it holds it both ways. Yeah.
Very nice. And those are really inexpensive and where they work great. I mean, that's what we
Yep.
always recommend for attaching kind of to flat surfaces or vice versa because they're
Yeah.
really, really simple, inexpensive, and they work awesome. So basically, you've got half-inch EMT that you said you started with for a lot of it, and then
Yeah.
using some of those 1x4s to basically reinforce and add some wind
Yep.
bracing on the sides, and then also in the middle wherever you have those 3 pipes joining together.
Correct. Um, there is, I grew up on a farm, so I had to have at least one. It's hard to see farmer trick there. A little bit piece of wood, scrap of wood to hold that half-inch to three-quarter, but
Nice.
yeah. So I always intended to build the walls out of half-inch and do the roof in three-quarter,
Okay.
thinking
Mhm.
it had a little more weight. So the top was always intended to be three-quarter, except for that one piece in the front. Um, as a fluke, actually, because I didn't tie the shrink wrap at the very top. Um, one of the first windstorms blew that little hole out. If you can kind of, I don't know if you can see it or not, right at the very top, but it's really helped. When the doors are shut, there still is positive pressure. Did I lose you? Oh, there we are.
Oh, there it is.
There,
Sorry.
there's still positive pressure because
Mhm.
there's probably 8 or 10 inches at the bottom when the thing's pulled shut.
Oh, right. Mhm.
So yeah, it just helps the thing breathe, and it keeps a lot of the. Otherwise, the first year there was a lot of condensation, and there still is some condensation, but it's not as bad as it was. Not that that little vent for no other reason is there. So
Right.
a fluke that somebody, if they did build something like this, could certainly put in their plan.
Mhm.
So
Nice. Yeah, that's great to know. And so yeah, the framework is really impressive, and I'm really surprised that it's half-inch on the walls. I was expecting all 3/4 inch, so that's really, really
um,
fascinating.
This again was before Maker Pipe too, but on the ones that go through, for example, there you go. If you look at that, I just I put these on a vise and I burned through the thread part. So these just basically clamp. The half inch goes right through the handy box. So they just sit down and hold the thing in place. So a different idea, I
Oh
suppose.
yeah, for sure.
Uh,
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was, 11/32, or I don't know
Mhm.
what the drill bit was, but yeah. So I did about 50 of those. So because I wanted the vertical strength,
Mhm.
and I was just using the steel ones for attachments.
Right.
Um yeah, where I could get it. Sometimes I couldn't get it because of the box,
Mhm.
so I ended up doing this a lot.
Oh, I see. Mhm.
Yeah.
Nice.
Looking just to, add strength wherever I could.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely.
yeah, with electrical boxes.
Right. Yeah, that's really great. Yeah, there's a ton of great techniques that you used. I think that's the most helpful information for a structure of this size because, a lot of people just assume that conduit is not going to be strong enough and on its own, it's not really, it's made to run wires, but that's kind of
Right.
why we made the connectors and then that's why you came up with the handy boxes, that's kind of the whole idea of strengthening and reinforcing it allows you to do some more elaborate things, but you just gotta kind of, strategically brace it and build it in a way that is strong. And I think all the different
Yeah.
techniques that you've used for that is really great with you got the wood on the ground that's acting as a foundation, and then you've got the flanges that go up at the verticals and the connection points with the handy boxes that go all the way through, and then you've got the truss design and with the crossover clamps and the T connectors, all kinds of really great techniques that's gonna be really helpful for I think for a lot of people, even if they're not building a shed, maybe they're
Right.
building a gardening enclosure or they're, a
Sure.
greenhouse, all kinds of different things. So thanks so much for sharing all the different details and techniques about that you used.
Don't don't be afraid to use corner bracing in what you're doing. That's high and off the ground. That was the old style before Maker Pipe, and then this would be the Maker Pipe version in the front of the building. I have where I just used adjustable,
I see. Mhm.
but a
Yeah,
guy could use 45s too. You make a 45, I think.
right.
Um, yeah,
Nice.
yeah. So
And I mean, you could build if somebody wanted to do shelves or something in there, they could build shelves into it, and that would kind of reinforce the frame even more. If you could kind of build shelves and different things.
that was the original plan
Oh yeah.
because the door
Mhm.
faces straight west.
Okay.
So the plan originally was I was going to build it out of boxes and put some plywood things and have a little like workshop on either side of the front
Mhm.
because I have this open area in the back. I've got, I mean, it's all well, it's not all. You can see that there's an opening back there, but there's quite a few trees that block a lot of the wind in the back. So it's the front that takes the wind beating.
Okay.
So, oh, and the other thing is these things. I'll
Mhm.
do this real quick and but these were just scraps I had. The first year when I said I didn't tighten it too much, it billowed on me, and so I added just some scrap pieces of wood.
Right. Mhm.
Um, Again, treated wood, but scrap pieces of wood to hold it from billowing. That makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
On a super high windy day, it would. And yeah, and so there's as a side note, yeah, it's my ADD kicking in. There's I think six total or eight total tie downs.
Nice.
Um, yeah, and that just basically gives you the rundown.
For sure. And then those tie downs, you said those are actually running through the conduit?
Not the corner ones. I
Hmm.
just used a stainless eyelet
Okay.
in lock with a couple of locking nuts and but this one right here, I showed you the other side. So this is this side, and to prevent the wire from moving, um, you know, I'm sorry, Jake. I can't remember what that's called. It's
Oh, you're
just a
fine.
uh, little thing. It's the stopper. If I'm
Hmm.
grabbing onto it, otherwise the building would move back and forth without those stops.
Oh, okay. Hmm.
So aircraft wire down to these things. You know, you can get them in
Okay. I think we've
home.
talked about those on the channel before. Maybe they're like the like cyclone. You twist them in. They have an eye hook on top.
Yep, yep. And I most of these are 18s, the bright red ones. The darker ones are
Hmm.
24s,
Oh, okay.
the
Yeah,
older ones.
those are great. We built a large greenhouse before. Nothing, it wasn't as big as what you've got there, but we used
Hmm.
those a lot and they worked really well. There's your sidekick.
Yes, my mascot. Yes.
Nice.
Well,
And and you said so it was around $3,300. You said, excuse me,
it,
in in 2021. Is that about right?
it it was about $3,300. Now that was with the 5 foot squares.
Oh,
So
okay.
I think my wife told me that when I went out and got a bunch more, I'm at 42.
Okay.
As a side note, the shrink wrap is very user friendly and
Hmm.
very forgiving. You know, you can put holes in it. You can probably see in certain places where in a couple places, I got hot and heavy with the heat gun, and you can see where I've had to patch it with tape,
Hmm.
or put in little patches. It's very forgiving in that
Right.
regard. Um,
I've never really
so
seen that material before. So is that like large? Did you basically just put like a large loose canvas type material over top of it and then it allows you to shrink it based on that? Or do you do like
yeah,
panel?
it's a poly. There's another patch right there. You can kind of see.
Hmm.
That's it's just a poly. You can get it in different thicknesses: 3 mil,
Okay.
5 mil, 8 mil. I think this is 9 mil. Um, and so, as an example, Jake, it might be better on the outside. Let me see. Uh, so, uh, mm, can you tell from here? Let's see. No, no, you can't tell from there. But you can see a shadow of it,
Hmm.
kind of like this, for example. Can you see
Oh, okay.
the stuff?
Hmm.
The jagged kind of.
Right. Hmm.
What this is I took gloves. My wife was on one side and I was on the other. Um, and one I did myself, but if it looks good, we did it together. If it looks really bad, I was doing it myself. Yeah, you just take uh one sheet and
Hmm.
you basically heat it up and glue it to the other sheet
Oh, wow.
and it sticks. So this is the wall. Um, excuse me. Let me do it like this. So if you if you look at
Hmm.
this wall all the way up,
Okay.
over, and down,
I see.
whatever that measurement was, we
Hmm.
measured it. I don't even know if I wrote it down somewhere, but that wall is it's all one piece.
Nice.
And then the two ends we had to glue together.
Okay.
We just basically glued. You can see, well, either side, the snowmobile side, um, or that side maybe is a better. It
Oh,
just folds around.
mm-hmm.
We folded it around and we taped it with
Mm-hmm.
tape and then glued it.
Okay.
Way up. Yep.
I could see that being
So
really helpful. Yeah.
yeah, that's what basically shrink wrap is. It's
Right.
a different mill. Uh, oh geez, I forget the name of it. Just Google shrink wrap and it'll reveal itself to you.
Right.
You know, and on the edges, like with the door,
Mm-hmm.
you can see I wrapped it around
Oh, okay.
and
Oh, so it wraps around the conduit there.
yeah, it wraps right around the conduit.
Oh, nice.
And then yep. So yeah, it helps to hold everything in place. And then yes, this was the old idea here. You can see at the bottom I just used like 8-inch pieces of 2x4 or 2x6, and then
Mm-hmm.
I drilled a hole and put re-rod, pounded
Oh,
re-rod
okay. Mm-hmm.
around. And these little clips, I used a lot of these one hole straps. I'd clip it on once the thing was in place before I heated it up.
Oh, nice. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so a lot of them don't do anything at this point, and I just never went around and picked them back up.
Nice. Well, at least
There's always stuff
you know where to get some if you need them.
right. Another thing that's really kind of cool about the maker pipe thing is, for example, I put stuff to protect the shrink wrap from getting cut
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
on the boxes that were outward facing. You don't have to do that with a maker pipe. I did it with the 180s. You can see there's foam up there. I covered them in foam because I was worried about snow up there. But on the walls, you can put your product right against the shrink wrap. In my opinion, anyway.
Nice. Well, that's good to hear. Yeah, we send the connectors through a process to kind of smooth out the edges to kind of keep them from being too sharp. So that's
Yeah,
good to hear. Glad you found that useful.
yeah. They use this a lot on boats. This is a some kind of weave. I wouldn't know the name of it, but you use this to build the perimeter of the boat with
Oh.
shrink wrap.
Mm-hmm.
I used that up on this flap,
I see. Nice.
so it reinforces the bottom of the flap. I can see that there's a piece of tape there that's gone bad. I'll have to get to, but you get the general idea. So there are other things one can use as well.
Nice. That's great.
So I don't. Yeah. Any more questions for me?
I'm trying to think. I'm really impressed. I keep saying that I know, but it's such an impressive structure. Like I said, I think it's definitely one of the most elaborate in terms of like connectors and everything. And so it's really great to hear all the different bracing techniques you use. Like I was saying, I think that'll be really helpful for people doing any kind of structure like this that's large, just because like we were saying, conduit on its own is not normally the strongest thing. It's made to run wires, but doing all the different designs. So I really appreciate you sharing your kind of experience building it and the different things that you found to be the most helpful for that, because I think it'll be really useful for a lot of people. I really appreciate you joining me and sharing these photos originally and being so helpful, sharing all the information today. It's a really impressive build, and yeah, absolutely
Awesome.
love it and really appreciate you, and have a good rest of your day.
You too. Take care.